If you find yourself buried on client communication, external partners communication, and just like messaging and chatting with people all the time, and you don't like that, then I have the right process for you. This is a team to CEO communication thread SOP. And this is an SOP that I share with my clients. You can see here it is an SOP from 7-Figure Systems. And I want to share with you how it works, why I use it, and how I spend so much less time on client communication while my clients are taken care of every single day and they get responses really fast. So let's dive into it right away. The first part you need to understand is what this SOP is all about and what is this process all about. Instead of you going in every day and answering to clients, then you should have a team member, whether it is an admin or client success admin, responding to clients, whether it is links that they need or they have questions about a specific thing. You would have a client success admin who will manage this communication on your behalf. And maybe there are multiple team members that are managing client communication. So here's how you're going to go about this. Firstly, you need to understand that there's going to be an automation either on Slack or Zapier or Make, where pretty much what you're going to do is send a notification daily, and it's going to be called the Team to CEO Communication Thread. So what do you want your team to do? Pretty much you want them to go over client communication channels, emails, whatever you're getting and people are reaching out to you, and you want to get your team members to first of all take care of these questions themselves. And then from there, if they cannot take care of questions themselves, then they can come to you and ask you for support. But while they're asking for support, these team members shouldn't just go in and say, hey, we have this problem, because that is too easy, right? Like you're just creating an additional process, but the problem is the same, right? You are answering to these questions. Instead, you want them to make proposals, as you can see here, and to prepare answers for any ticket or question that they may have. Even if they are unsure of the solution, they should come up with a proposal. And they should also ask themselves, is there a version of me that already knows this, right? I don't have to go and ask the same thing 15 times. Just ask yourself once as a team member, do I know this? Could I potentially figure this out? Is there another way that I could figure this out? If yes, let me just go and do it. And if it fails and I'm spending like too much time, then I'll go back to the Team to CEO communication thread. These are some boundaries that you need to set with your team, because it's really easy for them and comfortable to just come to you because they know you're going to give them the right answer always, but you need to have them be comfortable with being uncomfortable and coming up with solutions themselves. Now from there, if they have any question related to an external system, they would need to add screenshots. You want to make it really easy for the CEO to respond to questions. You don't want to give them links where they have to log in somewhere and find the logins and do so much. So instead, you want to add screenshots. You can see here an example, as you can see on my screen, where we have like an invoice request, for example, and my team is telling me like, hey, Katie, we have this request. I'm unsure what to do, or is it this or is it that, right? They're giving me all the information for me to make a decision, because really what they need from me is to help them make that decision. And then from there, I also want you to use a code before your message. You can see here, it says T1. The T stands for ticket. So as you can imagine, on that thread, meaning on that message list, you have a lot of tickets potentially, or a lot of questions. How are you going to refer to them, right? You'll have to tell the team, well, about this thing and about that thing, right? That is many words that are needed in order to just explain a situation. So instead, you'll use this code. So when the team member is creating a ticket, they're going to give it a number, and then it's just an ascending number pretty much. And when you are responding as a CEO, you're going to use the same number, so you know that we are referring to the same ticket. Now, you can see here examples of my team coming up with questions and solutions, how exactly they should go about things. And for me, it is really straightforward to answer to my team and just unblock them. And then another thing to add here is context. For example, you need to tell the CEO as a team member why you're asking these questions. Why is it something that you want the CEO to help you and not someone else, right? Provide any links to any tasks or any relevant information that will help the business owner make that decision. Now, let's go on the CEO side of things. You always need to review the thread at least 3 times per day. You start in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, and then towards the evening. You always want to respond to these questions and not let them hanging for days and days, because then what is the purpose of even having this thread? And you also want to use the code, meaning you have this format like, hey, I reviewed this, here's the response, Or if you're going to take care of the task yourself, meaning you have a client asking a question and you're going to do it yourself, you simply just tell them, hey, I responded to the client, this is done, right? And you want to close that communication loop. So when it is done, you just mention that, hey, it is done. So then your team does not need to follow up with you, or you just leave these threads hanging and nobody knows actually what happened from there. Now, let's get a little bit onto the automation side of things. The team is getting notified in the morning. This thread will be created every morning. And then the parts that are automated is pretty much that notification. And here are some frequently asked questions that I encounter with other business owners as well. If you forgot to add any links or screenshots, just add them retroactively at a later point. If the CEO does not respond, then it is your responsibility as a team member to follow up with the CEO. And if the question has not been answered in 24 hours, you definitely need to follow up. And you can follow up on the same thread. You don't need to follow up on the new thread that will be created, since we have now like a new day. And then if this task is like a longer task that will take maybe some hours, then it's best to turn it into a task on the project management tool. And the notification can be adjusted if you want to. You can change it to whatever time you want, but I would highly recommend as soon as possible, maybe even an hour earlier before your team signs in and starts working on tasks. And if you have a question that involves multiple people, you can always use the same thread. But if it's going to be like a long conversation with a lot of back and forth, maybe just have a separate thread for it and then link it back to the team to CEO communication thread. This way, the CEO knows that, hey, I have these 4 or 5 situations going on today. I need to address them, right? So guys, this is the process. This is exactly how I go about communication with my clients. All my clients get responses really fast. I have team members checking every 2 to 3 hours the communication threads with clients. And then for me, I respond to the ones where I am needed. Of course, I want to make my team as independent as possible, but sometimes there are situations where I am needed still. So I'll go in and provide direction, and then the team can just go and execute. So that is the process. A lot of business owners making multiple 6 and 7 figures per month are using this as part of the systems that we are installing in their business. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to add them in the comments below. And if you would like for us to come in and help you scale your business with systems and automations, then check the link in the description. I'm sure that we can help you scale your business as we've done with so many clients of ours. And you can also find templates in the description below if you want to start setting up systems for your business already. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.